Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another breaking news video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash up the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. And as always, leave your thoughts in the comments. And we're in the midst of the international break. There's not an awful lot of Chelsea news, but we've got some breaking news from this morning, and it is in regards to Cole Palmer and that groin injury. And Nizar Kinsella reporting that Palmer, unfortunately, is expected to miss the next 4 games for Chelsea. Cole Palmer is expected to be out of action until November following a club meeting about his persistent groin injury. Now, we know, obviously, Palmer has been nursing a groin problem since the Club World Cup. He missed the games against West Ham and Fulham at the start of the season. Obviously, he played against Bayern. He come back against Brentford. Only lasted 20 minutes against Man United. And he's obviously missed the last 3 games. The return was expected after the international break, according to Enzo Maresca, before the defeat to Brighton. Many expected that to be a return against Nottingham Forest next weekend, but BBC reporting that he's expected to be out of action until November, and he will miss the next 4 games. So Palmer is set to miss games against, obviously, Nottingham Forest. He's going to miss games against Sunderland, Wolves. I'm trying to think who else we're playing. There's and a couple of other games, and he should hopefully look at earmarking a return for that game against Tottenham on November 1st. So Palmer's in line to miss Nottingham Forest away, Ajax in the Champions League, Sunderland at home, and then Wolves away in the Carabao Cup at the end of the month. And hopefully, you know, that 1st of November, he can be back for the big game away at Spurs. In terms of what the article has been saying, it says Palmer's expected to be out of action until November following a club meeting. The 23-year-old has faced recurring groin issues since the injury emerged during a shortened 2-week pre-season that followed his starring role in the Club World Cup. He's made just 4 appearances across all competitions this season. Likely to miss the games that I said. He wasn't obviously named in Tuchel's England squad either. And look, this is not really a surprise that Palmer's set to miss another chunk of games. It's a major disappointment, don't get me wrong, but I think we're lucky in a sense that this chunk of games are very winnable. Forest in free fall under Ange, Ajax at home in the Champions League aren't anywhere near what they used to be. Home to newly promoted Sunderland, and away at Wolves in the Carabao, which he probably wouldn't have played in anyway, or certainly would have maybe been on the bench. So Nottingham Forest, Ajax and Sunderland, you would expect to be able to win those games without Cole Palmer. What it does mean, though, is are we going to see more of Facundo Buonanotte in the 10? Are we going to see Esteval Willian shifted inside? Or are we going to see him continue with Enzo Fernandez push forward in a more advanced role with either a Lavia and a Caicedo behind, or Santos and Caicedo, maybe to give a bit more security to the team, maybe a bit better balance to the team? Although, do you need to be doing that away at Forest, home to Ajax and home to Sunderland? Maybe you don't, but it's going to be a real test of whether we can actually win a period of games without Palmer. We've shown that despite still there being a major reliance on him, and despite the fact we've made 5 attacking signings, that he is still the guy that we look to most in order to make things happen. But we have shown we can beat Liverpool without Palmer. We have won games without Palmer this season. Actually, funnily enough, the 4 games that Palmer has featured in, we haven't won a single one of them. So we're actually yet to win this season with Palmer in the side, which is a really strange stat given how dependent we have been on him. But it's important that, obviously, you know, we take the right time. We don't rush him back. We do have alternatives. We've seen it in the past. We've rushed players back from injury, and it's been a major problem. You know, it's been a major problem, and they've suffered further setbacks. We have got the options now. And we need to give him as much time as he possibly needs. Get him back for Tottenham. You know, he doesn't need surgery. So that is a positive. Whether surgery has to happen at some point down the line, I don't know. I'm not a medical expert, and I'm not going to pretend to be whatsoever. And so, yeah, we got to hope that we're in a situation where after this rest and this recovery and whatever rehab he's doing, that he will be fully fit in November, and that groin injury should hopefully be behind him. Because if it's not, and there's further setbacks, then that is a worry, and that is a concern. I mean, Thomas Tuchel's talked about it being concerning, potentially chronic groin issue. I'm not really sure what the exact problem is. But yeah, it's opportunity for players now to make a stand. Do we see more of Mark Guy? Do we actually see Joao Pedro dropping into that 10? As I said, there's a continue with Enzo Fernandez. We have two midfielders behind him. Does he give Facundo Buonanotte more opportunities, who has looked okay in the minutes that he's played so far, but it's not exactly been anything, groundbreaking or anything like, wow, this guy looks serious. So there are options, and that's all we can ask for. There would have been a point where if Cole Palmer was missing for 4, 5, 6 games, it was like, oh, Jesus Christ, we're in big trouble here. Now, obviously, it's still a problem, but given the squad options we've got and given the personnel we have now, that becomes less of an issue. It's not as fatal as it might have been last season or the season before, especially. So, yeah, disappointing, but the most important thing is get this guy fit, give him the time that he needs, and make sure that he's available for the more difficult fixtures coming up, the Tottenham away at the start of the month, because that's when things start getting difficult. We don't want him to start missing games, against Barcelona at the end of towards the end of November and Arsenal and whatnot. So I'd rather him miss more games now and be ready for the remainder of the season than rush him back. He plays a couple games and he's ruled out for another extended period, and it's just like, nah, we've got to stop moving away from mismanaging players. So yeah, it's a shame because I would have loved him back for Forest. I would have loved him back for Ajax in the Champions League or whatever. But that's just the way it goes, unfortunately. You win some, you lose some. Palmer's been pretty available his entire Chelsea career, and this is really the first time that he's missed kind of a significant amount of games. That'll take it to what? He's missed 2 against West Ham, 5. That'll be 9 games he would have missed, 9, 10 games that he would have missed already this season by the time he returns. And that obviously isn't optimal, isn't ideal. But we move and we've got to try and pick up the points. Let's just hope that momentum we generated with that win against Liverpool's not lost over the international break. We can push on. And look, every team is going to be worse without their best player. But we still got more than good enough players to pick up results in this run of games. And it's an opportunity for others. And it's a real chance for this team to show that, you know what, we're not a one-man team. We're not Cole Palmer FC. Yes, we're much better with this guy in the side, but we can still pick up points. We can still win games without him. And that's what Chelsea needs to be looking to do. And I'll be interested to see, what Maresca goes with, whether he changes it tactically slightly. Really, he's used Fernandez in the more advanced role for most of the games that Palmer's been absent, other than that Benfica one where he put Buonanotte in the 10. And I'll be interested to see whether that continues. There's no easy games in the Premier League. I think particularly away from home, even against Forest, for example, I still think he'll stick with Enzo and go Caicedo, Lavia in there. Although Enzo Fernandez maybe won't start against Forest, given the fact that, the Argentina games moved a day later and he's due back like literally a couple days before the Forest game. So I'm not really too sure what's going to go on there. But anyway, that's the latest situation on the Cole Palmer injury. Set to miss the next 4 games. A return in November is targeted for him. And we just got to hope for the best and, favourable fixtures for us. And we can hopefully pick up some big wins along the way in his absence. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts. Smash up the like, subscribe if you're new around here. And I'll catch you lot again in another one soon. Up the Chelsea, and we're out. Love.